Hey,
Hey,
we are live, and today I am with wonderful and amazing Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
hello Joy, hello everyone.
Hello, everybody. And today we are going to talk about one of the Talk Dentist specialty class, which is house cleanings. And
My favorite topic.
yeah, it's actually one of my favorite topics too, and it's one of the topics that contributed to my life massively.
Massive.
And so for me, especially like when we're talking about talk dentities, like if anybody's like first time coming across talk dentities, so Cindy is an entity, I am an entity, and we're entities that have bodies, and then there is actually entities don't have bodies anymore. Yeah. I love that. and and sometimes these entities or these beings can actually be stuck to a certain house or a certain place. And for me, like how this showed up was like I would actually go into like different places, or I would go into a building, and actually I would start to feel super weird, and like I was started to become tired, and there would like be a sense of there was just like a weird energy that's going on. And in the past, like I personally wouldn't know what to do with that. And I would just go, oh, like I'm tired or I feel weird, like this home feel wonky. And then I will like either choose to leave theirs, or I would actually stay there, and I would be effect of what I was aware of instead of actually starting to ask some questions. And one of the first questions that we invite everybody to play with when it comes to the awareness of entities is first of all asking, is this an entity? And if you get a yes, then like that's the first big step actually, and I'm going to say like it's a courageous step to take on, going, hey, like actually am I aware of an entity or an energy here? And like I personally don't like see entities, but I'm aware of different energies. And like one of the things like with entities, they are like people. Like there's good people, there's bad people, there's actually people that have a sense of lightness and sense of calmness and expansion in their world, and there's people actually have a sense of contraction, and like when you're around them, you feel wonky and you feel twisted. And like when I ask this question, okay, is this an entity? And actually acknowledging that, it opens a whole new door to first of all like trust that I am aware. Like I am aware that there is something is here, or there's actually an energy here. And sometimes that can be example, there was one lady that come to a foundation class that I was facilitating, and in the time she couple of years ago, she was looking for a venue. She was looking to expand her business. So she was like, I'm going to actually rent a venue so I can do classes there. And she came across to one of the buildings, like his friend was showing it to her. And the moment that she entered the building, the only sense that she can feel was dragging her feet. Like she was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go in here. Like she was just like knew there was like a very heavy energy. And the more that she walks in, like it was getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And because at the time, like she didn't have the tools, and like one of the classes that we will be inviting you to, if you are interested in this topic and actually to learn some tools to clear houses, clear lands, and actually clear that energetic residue of whatever happened there, which is a Talk Dentist specialty class. clearing houses from A to Z. And and because she didn't actually have these tools, she was like, okay, like I'm not gonna rent here. And she just left the house. And after a couple of weeks, she learned actually that house was in the past where they would bring old people or people that actually won't live. They when they decided someone can like won't live long, they would actually bring them there. So you can imagine a lot of people were dragging their feet when they actually enter that building because they know they won't leave there. That's their last destination. And this lady would enter this house and actually be able to pick up all of these beings that actually was theirs, that was body, then actually they choose to leave their body, and then she would think it's hers instead of actually acknowledging, going, oh, like, am I aware of entities here? Like, what happened here that I don't have the information yet. And sometimes you may get to have the information, and sometimes you may not get to have that information. And then it's really starting to practice that tools of knowing what you know and not making yourself wrong. And for me, that story, it's such a beautiful story. And like now, as she have the tools, like if such an opportunity or possibility comes across her, she can actually use the simple Takt entities clearings to clear and or like there's four things that we do with entities: clearing, communication, cooperation, and receiving. And we actually go into deeper of these into in the classes. Like I won't be able to go in deeper in a Facebook Live, but when you actually get that tools, you are able to change and shift all the energies, and actually instead of being effect of it, you get to work with it to create a greater world and a more lighter house, and actually more lighter space for you and actually for everybody around you.
And I have to say, thank you so much for that story because it has many ideas inside of them that pinged me. The first one was that how many people think they have a problem and they feel annoyed or angry or fatigue. And actually, it's just the awareness they have of other energies. So when you said after that she could recognize that she just had the awareness of all the entities here around, and what contribution can that be for her life afterwards? And also, I wanted to. The second idea was that as you started with, entities can be stuck in a house.
Mm,
For me, there have been many entities also in a house that are a contribution. For example, the house that we just bought here, it's typically one or more entities that attracted us actually here. So what contribution can we get also from the entities? It's not always something that you need to get rid of, but also when you said four things we can do with entities, the last one is receiving. What contribution can we receive from the entities, and what contribution can we be to be aware of entities and collaborate with them and create like something more special or spacious.
yeah,
And
spacious and
right.
beautiful, and actually like that would be the world that I would love to live in. Like I remember, and thanks so much for bringing that part as well, because it is correct. Like it's not always that they are looking to create havoc, but actually some beings can be contributory and looking to gift you, um, yeah, gift you and actually be there and contribute to the land. And
Mhm.
then we actually get to work with these beings. And in your case, you're like, hey, actually, I am the new owners of this house. And then you come to this house and you're aware of these different energies that is going around you. And instead of going like, oh, like I must be crazy, I must be insane, or there must be something wrong with me, and trying to shut that down in different ways, like that could be like overeating, or
Yes.
maybe judging yourself, or getting medication, drinking a lot. Like you can actually now have these basic tools to first of all acknowledge, oh, like actually there is beings that was here before me. And then you can actually starting to, when you don't have a judgment, and unfortunately in the world that we are living, when it comes to the spirit world, there is a lot of judgments, and there's a lot of structures that have a lot of forms and significance, like what it is, what it looks like. And that's why most of us actually cut this awareness down. And actually that was the way it worked for me. Like I cut my awareness of entities for a very long time because I decided that it's wrong, it's bad, it's terrible. Like if what people say, if I actually do talk with entities, and what would that mean? But what it was creating in my world, it was a sense of compression and a sense of disconnection from who I truly am. Because like talking with the entities, it's not something that I personally developed after attending a talk to entities class. This was always a part of me that I cut off when I was growing up, because I decided it's not good to be aware of entities, because grown adults don't do such a things. Like now I have to be logical, I have to be linear, and I actually cut off all of these magical beings that I was aware of that were looking to contribute to me. And like for me, that's the beauty of the talk to the entities. Like we are including all the beings and getting some tools so you can actually starting to shift and change and work with these energies to create something greater. And I know like these tools contributed to me massively. Like I would actually, especially like when I'm traveling to different places, because like when I go to an Airbnb, like I would sense like there would be like interesting energies that was not quite fun to be. And then I will actually run these basic tools, and it would just shift and change the energy very quickly. And I will have a sense of lightness, a sense of peace, a sense of relaxation. And personally, that's the way how I know the tools are working. That there's a sense of communion in my world. Like if I'm thinking a lot, or if I'm getting paranoid, that goes away after the usage of the Talk Dentity's tools. And I'm so grateful for Shannon O'Hara and Gary Douglas for actually developing these tools and willing to get it out into the world. So we are, if you're aware of entities and beings, that you don't have to make yourself wrong anymore.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, gonna say that the house clearing specialty class is not only if you buy a house or have a house or whatever, it is also the environment in your workplace, when you go typically on travel, on work, if you have to do something with the land. So, what would you actually tell people during this 2 hours class?
So much. And like there's so
Yeah, what invitation is that for the person that want to attend that class?
yeah, like I would say like everything that we said so far. And there is some actually really beautiful tools and exercises that we will be doing during this class, and that includes the beings and actually the consciousness of the house as well. Because in, and you can even ask right now for the
Mm,
consciousness of the house that you're living is to
be more
you're the
conscious.
house, yeah, the board, be more conscious. You can actually ask your house right now, the house area in, or if you're in an apartment, to be more conscious.
Yeah, because for me as well, every like furniture, every like chair or whatever has a kind of consciousness, has a kind of aura that you can get information from. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like even like when I asked that question, like asking your house to become more conscious, like do you perceive that there is something different
Mm.
that, yeah, and maybe more lighter. And exactly as Cindy says, like all the molecules in the universe has consciousness. And actually what we're doing is engaging with all of those molecules and acknowledging all of those molecules and actually willing to work with it and actually allowing us to tell like what it requires and actually what contribution that we can be. And for me, that is that is magic. Like for me, that is
Yes.
magic and the beauty and actually the world that I would love to live in. I wouldn't personally would like to live in a world that we just go, oh, like that's a wall or that's just a house. Like what are you talking about? Like you cannot talk with your house. You cannot talk with the molecules of your house. And that and this will be our choice in which world and which universe that we would love to live in. Like, do you want to live in a world, in a universe that's linear, that's only logical, and if anything that you don't see with your eyes or you cannot touch or taste or feel or hear, that means it doesn't exist? Or will you be willing to open up beyond that your five senses and actually willing to perceive, know, be, and receive a greater world and actually so many more beings that is here that's looking to contribute to you, and some of them may require your contribution, and that's what we would love to invite you and go into deeper on. And usually with these two, it's going to be a 2 hour class, like where we go the questions determines like which direction we will be taking. So, and it's going to be my first house clearing class that I'm facilitating. So I'm personally very excited to explore what we'll be talking about and where we'll be going and what it's going to be created. So I cannot wait.
And it will be online, so you can attend
Yeah.
from everywhere you are just living. And it will be translated in French, in Portuguese, and what other languages would like to come on
Yeah, absolutely. If there's any other language that you would like us
to translate?
to translate, please let us know and we can see what is possible there. Hmm.
And the date and inscription will be just down below.
Yeah, we'll be popping the link into the comments, and I hope this live contributes to you. And yeah, like you are not wrong, you're not insane if you are aware of the spirit world. You just require some tools that work so you can actually work and change all energies and you don't have to be affected of them anymore.
Enjoy!
Hey, beautiful. Thank you so much, Cindy, for
Thank
being
you,
here with
sir.
me and doing this live. Hmm.
Thank you for the invitation.
Hey,
What else will be created now? See you
exactly,
then!
exactly. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone!
Hmm.